Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's video, we're talking about my Jesmon build that is like a Nats level specific deck. When I say specific, is because it's meant to go against those decks that are going to be prevalent at Nats. So this deck is tailored towards those. Now we've done a bunch of Jesmon deck profiles in the past before, so I'm not going to do this super big in-depth card by card. I'll kind of go over a couple things here and there, but then really kind of zero in on the specific counters and why I went with certain things specifically for a Nats level event. Don't forget, our memory marker for Patreon this month is Pokemon. This is the baby form of Renamon. So if you're excited for EX2, playing that Sakuyamon deck, rocking some Renamon again as a forefront deck, then definitely going to be a great memory marker to have for that. Now, if you want any of our previous memory markers we've had on the channel, check the coffee link in the description below. There you can get all the previous memory markers we've had on the channel, but the benefit though of going through Patreon is you get the featured memory marker of the month for a bit of a cheaper price. Alright, so this time around, I'm just going to start with a zoomed out version so you can see the whole deck, okay? So that way there's no need to skip to the end to see what I'm playing. This is one of those videos where I think the talking points are going to be more important than the whole deck profile as a whole is. So a lot of the stuff we're talking about is more specifically dealing with Nats and Nationals, in case you're wondering what Nats is. Nationals. So that's why we're going with some of the options that we decided to switch it up to this time around. All right, taking a closer look at our eggs here, it basically boils down to these are like the 4 best options for Jesmon specifically. Originally, I was going with Baby Digimon as our primary baby in my original OTK build for Jesmon. We really like this because it was all about going into Jesmon and then just swinging for game with Jesmon and just that stack in general. So we really wanted a whole lot of DP for that so we could handle anything that came across our path. What I came into playing a whole lot of is that really you don't need that much DP specifically for Jesmon himself. By the time Jesmon hits the field, his own ability is going to bump him up to 14,000, and then just one more 1,000 DP is going to put you in that sweet spot and just make you good to go, honestly. At that point, 15,000 is plenty. Swing at security, swing over Digimon on field. For the meta. So what we're looking at in the meta is going to be other Jesmon decks, any kind of the Blitz Omnimon that they might have, or if you're going against blue Gabu bonds, they might have the 14,000 bonds in security that you might have to worry about, or even on field. Being able to swing over 14,000 is basically that sweet spot. If you can put yourself to 15,000, you're golden. So there's no need to have the 2,000 specifically, and this isn't even taking into consideration having your CL on field giving you another 2,000. So that's just looking at the babies, and Jesmon's ability by itself is what we're looking at there for that 15,000. So what are other options that we can go with instead of Baby Digimon? Demi-Marimon was looking pretty good when the Digimon attacks a player. It gets 1,000 DP. Not too bad, but again, for the most part, you're going to be golden, okay? When swinging at security, you're not having to worry about a whole lot. So the 1,000, only attacking players, okay, that's not bad. That's close, okay? That's, ideal. But Jesmon really likes to do piercing, right? So with Jesmon doing all this piercing, and you're going to get your security checks anyway when you're doing your piercing, whether you're getting blocked or you're attacking unsuspended Digimon with your Judgment Blade, things like that, that's going to, get you where you need to be. So the idea was Yokomon probably is going to be your best bet. When you attack a Digimon, you get that 1,000 DP buff, and I feel like that's going to be your best outcome. Also, this can be applied to your lower Digimon. So say you've got a 2,000 rookie on field, and you need to swing over like a 2,000 DP Gabumon on field. Yokomon can actually get the job done for you, for your rookies. So just giving your rookies, your level 4s, even your level 5s, just a tiny bit of a buff, I think is going to be really important. Because for the most part, you're not going to want to swing those stacks into security. And if you do, you're just expecting to die. Being able to just have the opportunity to swing over your opponent's suspended Digimon when the opportunity arises, Yokomon fits the bill the best, I think. The other one that we're looking at was Koromon, but again, Koromon only applies to basically Jesmon and then any other Mega that you want to play, like we're playing the War Greymon. It can be applied to the War Greymon as well, but I think that for the most part, for what you're wanting in the deck, Yokomon is going to get the job done as your primary target. Babydamon and Koromon are really kind of in the same class of they only are going to apply to the Mega. So we can pretty much knock those guys out. And then the Demi-Meramon, I think, is just quite not what we want. So Yokomon probably our best bet. Of course, we're running for Huckmon. This is just going to be your consistency booster. This is one of those key points I want to touch on. Besides which egg to go with, Huckmon being so important in this deck. In a big, large-scale 2-day tournament like this is shaping up to be, you need to have consistency. Consistency is one of those decks that always wins. And I say that generically. Looking at Rookie Rush doesn't have to worry about any sort of consistency issues. Even Musketeers, to the most part, doesn't have to worry about too many consistency things. Security Control doesn't have to worry about. They just slam down one card, call it a turn, move on with your life. Whereas decks that involve digivolving, like you really need to digivolve to win, to get into this, whatever Mega you have, consistency is going to be what makes or breaks you. If you don't have enough consistency in Jesmon, you're going to lose. Bricking in Jesmon is common, okay? Any Jesmon player will tell you, yeah, bricking happens, okay? That's what it is. So you've got to play the cards that prevent that. So that's where the Huckmon comes in. Agumon, just for that 1000 DP buff. Again, like I said, we don't really need a whole lot of DP buffs. He is a good, just a secondary source to get it. If you're not applying your Yokomon for whatever reason, if you're just going for face because there's nothing for Yokomon to trigger off of, Agumon is a good secondary backup, as well as he can apply to your War Greymon as well to give your War Greymon just a little bit of an added bonus. All right, this next part is our next flex spot of the deck, and this is very much personal preference. These are our 3 different choices for our third rookie. We've got Biomon from this is the original 0.0 promo. This isn't once per turn, and I think that's what's so crucial about this is it's not once per turn, so when you use it with Savior Huckmon allowing you to attack twice will allow you to trigger Biomon twice. So when this Digimon deletes one of your opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, draw one. So Savior Huckmon allowing you to swing twice, Jesmon doing piercing, Judgment Blade allowing you to attack into unsuspended Digimon. You're always going to be getting tons of piercing off in this deck, so you're going to want to swing at your opponent's Digimon constantly, which is great for Biomon. So Biomon triggering really, really nicely. Where Guilmon kind of steps over Biomon a little bit is the fact that it's just when a Digimon is deleted. So if you combine that with a Bao Huckmon, triggering the Bao Huckmon to delete something on your opponent's side of the field, you're going to trigger the Guilmon. So if you're just swinging for face and Bao Huckmon is deleting something, you can still get that Guilmon trigger, okay? As well as just deleting over something or swinging over something, you're going to get that trigger. So that's really nice about Guilmon is he can be applied both for swinging at stack as well as swinging over Digimon. So really, really great for that, but he is once per turn, whereas the Biomon isn't. And then the other side of the spectrum is we have the new EX1 Biomon. I know a lot of people have been switching to this. It's still once per turn, same thing as the Guilmon, but this is basically the other half of it. When this Digimon attacks a player, draw one. So it's very difficult. So this one, the first Biomon is when you're swinging over Digimon. The other one is when you're swinging at stack. And then Guilmon is kind of like a middle ground. And I think that's what's really nice about the Guilmon is he fits both kind of decently. If you want to swing for face, as long as you got Bao Huckmon, you can trigger him. If you're swinging over Digimon, you can trigger him. He works for both, whereas these two are very one-sided on which spectrum they're going to apply towards. So I think Guilmon is probably the most ideal way to go on your second, or your third, I should say, rookie for the deck. All right, and of course, we're running 4 Bao Huckmon. He's so great for controlling the board. He works really great for that. Delete anything 5,000 DP or less. Now, I am going to kind of jump over to our level 5s because I think this is a really great time to mention this. For our second level 5, I'm going with the Rise Greymon, okay? And it's not really because of the Digiburst. The Digiburst is kind of nice, but the applicableness of it being playing the Tamer, getting your Memory Fixer out, you know, you're not going to get the Memory Fixing that turn. 2, if you Digiburst away your sources, you're not going to get the Security Attack +1. However, besides that, it's this inheritable. It combos so great with Bao Huckmon. If you have a Tamer in play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000 DP for the turn. So basically, he turns your Bao Huckmon into deleting anything with 7,000 DP. That's huge. All those 6,000 DP blockers that, you know, are going to stop your Blitz Omnimon from swinging for game, right? You can go ahead and just delete those off the field. Tons of other 7,000 DPs. If you're in the mirror match, that Savior Huckmon sitting on field over there, 7,000 DP, okay? Whatever, you know, tons of your opponent's level 5s, this is clearing off the field. We expect Imperialdramon to make a pretty good appearance at this. Look at this. Pyldramon, 7,000 DP. You see where I'm going? 7,000 DP is a good spot to be able to delete things. There's a lot of really important Digimon in a lot of decks that's right at 7,000. Anyone playing Magna Angemon in their security control deck, look at that, 6,000 DP. That little bit of extra really matters. A lot of these decks that are having these level 5s makes your Bao Huckmon no longer just only able to delete level 4s, it's deleting a ton of level 5s. But only if you're going to be running the Rise Greymon with it. So I think that's our good secondary option for our Megas. We already know why Savior Huckmon's great, allowing you to swing twice. That's incredible. So if you're doing 2-3 security checks, you know, with Savior Huckmon, then that's going to turn with Savior Huckmon, or with Jesmon, that's going to turn your Savior Huckmon into doubling that to do 5-6 checks. You know, you're going to clear all your opponent's security, allowing your Omnimon to steal the game for you. Also, Savior Huckmon allowing you to swing over Digimon, okay? So you can swing and clear 2 Digimon off field with your piercing with Jesmon. Also huge. So not only are you clearing tons of security, you're also clearing your opponent's board. Your opponent can't win if they can't swing with Digimon because they don't have any. Okay, it's pretty simple stuff. So Savior Huckmon is our primary target, but Rise Greymon is a fantastic secondary for more of the just kind of a little bit of control element to it. Okay, just a little bit of control. We have Savior Huckmon for the DPS. Okay, we're not going full OTK. You go full OTK, there's a high chance you're going to brick, or you're going to run into situations that you cannot handle with an OTK style strategy. So you need to be able to alter back and forth between your strategies. Savior Huckmon being the primary target, but Rise the secondary. Greymon also here, this kind of just enables the OTK aspect. So Greymon and Jesmon, and if you have a tie on field, that's 3 checks per swing. You swing twice. You see where I'm going. So Greymon is great for when you're able to just push. If you know you're set up, you've got the what you need to go and just go ham on your opponent, Greymon is great for that. So of course we're going to be running that. I do have 2 blockers in here just for those situations when you brick. Okay, it happens. Okay, it happens. You brick. You cannot just not run anything. So we've got Cordramon here, whether you're hard playing it for 5, which been there plenty of times, okay? It's not that bad of a play too often. If you have a Memory Fixer on field, you're at 3, you slam this guy down, it's okay. Okay, you put your opponent to 2, not a big deal. So playing these guys is definitely kind of our way to go for our blockers. Just that I 2 of, we don't need to go too crazy on the level 4s. We're playing a smaller Evo count of a lot of stuff here. Ideally, we're only ever going into Jesmon in this deck. Okay, so you only need a small amount of Evo targets for Jesmon to get into. War Greymon is a contingency plan. Okay. He is straight up a contingency plan for when you're going against Musketeers, when you're going against Security Control, and when you're going against Blue. Blue has so many options now that are going to be triggering in security between the Ice Walls and the Hammer Sparks. That's 8 targets alone that can pass turn back to your opponent. You got to be able to handle that, okay? That's so crucial to being able to turn off those option cards, and that's what he's here for, is going against those specific decks where he really shines a whole lot. His low 11,000 DP, so that's when you're going against certain decks, Jesmon is probably your ideal target to go into. But against those decks that have a low DP threshold, you can get away with War Greymon, and turning off those options is going to be so much more important. In this particular build, I did go with 2 Omnimon, so I cut the hybrid package entirely. The 2 Evo cost, most of the time, if you're going like Jesmon and you're swinging for game, you're going to clear all that security. you're not going to have the memory left to Evo 2 to go into the hybrid to win. In the OTK variant, I did go with that, but that was like in a very slim style deck where we didn't have a whole lot of extra space. So I think just going with the Blitz Omnimon, go with 2 of them. It's the safer route. Also, in case you can't finish your opponent off, he's a nice target to leave on field, simply because he's hard to get off the field for your opponent. Against those like security control players, okay, they're not going to be able to remove him off field very easily, okay? He's going to stick around. Same with Musketeers, hard for them to touch him. So he's a great choice for this particular, when you know what you're going against, okay? You don't have to worry about a whole lot of rogue, okay? Once you get past round 3, more than likely, you're just going to face the same deck all day long, okay? That's how these tournaments always go. Anyone that's played in these big tournaments, they know how it is. They play 7 Lord Nightmons in one day, okay? That's because that's what people do. When it comes to a big tournament like this, people play just what has the best results, okay, or has a track record of the best results. Now, you might have some total, like, left field deck that wins the whole thing. You can't really predict that kind of thing, but you can predict that you will play a lot of Jesmon and a lot of blue. Tai is our memory fixer that I ultimately went with. For the most part, there's not a whole lot of good memory fixers for red. I did debate the Black Izzy for a moment just to set up the top 3 cards of my deck, because he's kind of like an essential like search card in that manner of speaking. Just being able to look at the next 3. If it's what I need, awesome. If it's not, you know, now you know how to plan accordingly for your follow-up turn. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to draw into my Jesmon for the next 3 draws. I need to plan for not drawing into Jesmon for the next 3 turns. Set up some defense or clear the field, you know, that sort of thing. So Izzy was kind of nice about that, but I think it ultimately came back to that security attack +1. When you got it, you got it. Okay, like I said, Savior Hugmon is our ideal target, not the Rise Greymon to Digiburst. So most often our full stack Tai will benefit. Okay, so that's 3 security checks per swing. If you're swinging twice, you know, you're clearing 6 security. Even against security control that's going to be doing some healing, that's going to be really, really good. Okay, even if security control is at 4 and you hit into like 2 holy waves, okay, you're still clearing all 6 security. And I think that's another great thing to kind of look at is just the security tech alone. Even if you're not getting it all the time, I think most of the time you will. All right, this next part might surprise some people. My Blanc and CL ratios. I dropped CL down to 2. They were at an even 3-3, but after playing a whole lot of this deck, I wanted Blanc. Every time I could play CL, I just wanted Blanc. Whether I'm passing turn or trying to dig because I bricked super hard, Blanc getting those draws was so good. Every time I had the choice, I always went for Blanc. Even when you're swinging with Jesmon and you get the choice between which one to bring back, most of the time, like I said, your DP is good enough. You have a flat 14 with the Jesmon ability, and then plus 1 more K off of whatever baby you're playing, that puts you at 15. You're golden. What do you need more DP for than that? There's not really anything you have to worry about that's going to be at this tournament that's going to be at 15,000, okay? And no one's going to be playing stuff that's going to be boosting the DP of their security Digimon, okay? That's not this format. That's next format. So for now, I think, yeah, Blanc is definitely the way to go, just getting that draw, as well as the blocker. So any of those times where you can't finish the opponent off all the way, having that blocker on field to, 1, protect your Jesmon from, like, any kind of retaliation plays that your opponent might be going for, or just swinging over, that sort of thing. Blanc is a great just deterrent for that sort of thing. So I always my go-to every time. Just the draw alone was so good having that draw over just the gain 1 memory. Gain 1 memory, okay, that just turns her into a 3-cost drop, the same as Blanc, okay? It's not like it makes it better. But I do have the 2 CL in here, just for those plays where you can double swing with Savior. Swing once, drop the CL, and then you can play something like a Judgment Blade or a Delicate Plan with that memory that you gain off of this CL. Now again, playing a Delicate Plan after you've already done 2 or 3 security checks, little questionable, but you at least, if you're still around, you at least have it to play for the second bout, and that could really make or break you. Especially if you're playing against blue and you've already cleared out, you know, half of blue's security. They've only got 2 left. If there's no Hammer Spark in there, you win. If there is, you lose. So just playing a Delicate Plan, clear those last ones out, and then drop the Omnimon and then steal the game. So a delicate plan combos pretty well with CL for the most part, but more often than not, I think the block is going to be the way to go, because the delicate plan you're going to want to save for a guarantee before you even start swinging. CL only enables it after you've already swung once. So speaking of which, a delicate plan in here for those blue decks, for those security control decks, okay, for those musketeers decks, okay? There's tons of decks. I would say 3 out of the 4 of the top decks, or most played decks, I should say, the most played decks that I expect at Nats, a delicate plan will stop 3 of those 4, okay? And if there's ever a Jesmon player that you know, in the first or second game you saw them play a Gaia Force, then you know that you should probably use this a delicate plan just in case in those situations as well, to prevent the Gaia Force. So potentially a delicate plan stops all those decks. I don't think there's any more to say. I don't think more than 2 copies is really that important, because it's not going to be live until you get into your Jesmon. Well, it's going to be live, but it's not going to be as useful until you're doing tons of security checks. Until you're doing tons of security checks, not that important. And then Judgment Blade, we've already kind of discussed why it's great. Just being able to clear your opponent's field. Control your opponent's field. If your opponent doesn't have Digimon, they can't swing at you and win. So keep your opponent's field clear. Very good. Against those Musketeers decks, being able to swing over those Bielstarmons, very, very powerful. Just swing over those before they can evo into whatever level 7. The defeat, you don't want to have to stare down a defeat when you're playing this deck. That's not fun. So just being able to clear those megas off field before they can go into something that's actually formidable, or even just controlling your opponent's field. So just a Judgment Blade, swing over those level 5s like we talked about, clearing those level 5s before they can, like Imperial Dramon, can go into Imperial Dramon. So that's great. Also, not a bad security effect. Just get to play a Sistermon from your trash without paying its memory cost, then add it to your hand so you can still get that value. Well, I think what's kind of underrated about this, you get the on-play effect. So they hit this in security, you play a CL, you gain 1 memory, you pass it back to your turn. How, like, almost like a pseudo hammer spark at that point. Some pretty spicy plays there. Good potential for the Judgment Blade. And then the last card is Red Memory Boost. I said it in the beginning, consistency is what wins tournaments. So Red Memory Boost is what's going to keep you in the game. Just game after game after game for 2 days. If you brick in 1 match twice, that's it. You're out of the running for top cut. Okay, you've got to make it to the end if you want to make top cut. You can't afford to brick. Okay, so playing consistency boosters is why we're going so heavy on a lot of what we're playing. Like I said, 4 Blanc. Of course, the 4 Huckmon, that's pretty much a guaranteed anyway in every build. But the 4 Blanc, okay, not a lot of people are doing that. I think it's the way to go. And then the Red Memory Boost, because it's just so powerful. Being able to get those red cards you need to go for game. Like, for the most part, your whole deck is red. If you miss on a Sistermon, it's okay. Jesmon can play from trash, okay, guys? He can play from trash when you use his effect. Like, hand or trash right there. So if you have one in trash, you can still play it. So you don't need to hit a ton of Sistermons, okay? You just got to get 1 in rotation, and then you're good, okay? You can keep recycling that 1. So being able to just get your red cards is going to be what's going to make or break you. So Red Memory Boost for that, as well as the fact this is a pseudo memory fixer. Okay, you play this, search out that Jesmon. Now you're ready for the following turn to use that Jesmon. Okay, with this Red Memory Boost, if you don't have Tie on field to fix you, you can use this. Pump yourself up to 3. Now you can go into the Jesmon and then start going to town on your opponent. So it's like almost having 5 memory fixers in the deck in a way, if you want to kind of view it as that. Not entirely, but you see what I mean. It's a memory fixer when times get tough. Or if you do have the memory fixer and you go Digivolve into Jesmon, and now I can play a Delegate Plan. Now I can play Judgment Blade, play both of those guys because I had the 5 memory. Now I've got this super beastly Jesmon that's swinging over all my opponent's Digimon. He's not triggering any options in security. He's swinging twice. We're about to basically win the game. Red Memory Boost and a Memory Fixer, that right there, that's what's going to win you the game.